On a forgotten dirt road in Vermont's deep woods, a 6-month pregnant woman stood alone, abandoned by the man who vowed to love her forever. Her name is Lily, and tonight, every breath she takes feels like a prayer God hasn't answered yet. The cabin ahead should have been safety. But why was the lock new? Why were there footprints in the dust that weren't hers? Why did the trees go silent, like the forest was holding its breath? Then, out of the darkness, a shape emerged. A German shepherd, scarred, fur rough from battles he never asked for, eyes full of stories he cannot tell. His name is Rex, a soldier once, a guardian always. He pressed his shoulder against her leg as if to say, "I wasn't sent to you by accident." Because sometimes, the angels God sends don't wear halos, they wear paws. And as engines growl in the distance and strange lights slash through the trees, Lily will discover that her biggest fight isn't heartbreak. It's surviving the dangerous secret buried beneath her own home. What happens next will break your heart and remind you miracles still walk this earth. Before we begin, tell me where you're watching from. Click subscribe if you believe God never abandons the ones he loves. June in Vermont weighed heavy with heat, cicadas singing like a restless chorus, and the forest breathing thick summer air around a lonely dirt road. Lily Parker stood there, frozen in disbelief, dust still settling from the back tires of the car that had just abandoned her. She was 27, with shoulder-length chestnut brown hair dampened by sweat and tears, and a soft face that once held hope, now twisted in a grief she didn't deserve. Her 6-month baby bump gently curved beneath a faded yellow sundress, and she wrapped both arms protectively around it, as if shielding the tiny life from the cruelty of the world. Just minutes ago, her boyfriend, no, ex, had muttered a coward's apology. "I'm not ready for this. For a family." His voice trembled, but his hands were steady on the steering wheel. Then he drove away. No backward glance, no second thought, only the lingering scent of exhaust and betrayal. Lily felt the heat prickling her skin and humiliation burning deeper. A child deserves to be wanted, doesn't it? Her heart throbbed painfully, pulsing memories of promises he once made. She wiped her cheeks, breathing shakily as she turned toward a small sign, barely readable under vines and moss. Parker Cabin, 0.5 mile, her grandmother's old home. The only place left. Dragging her suitcase along the gravel, she tried to summon courage from somewhere, anywhere, but it felt like her strength had been tossed into the dust with her. Her sandals scuffed with every step as her body reminded her she was not alone. Every tiny kick from within said, "Keep going, Mom." Her throat closed again. "I'm trying," she whispered. A sudden rustle in the forest stopped her heart. Leaves shook, branches snapped. Something large moved between the pines. Lily's pulse hammered. She instinctively pulled her suitcase closer, as if fabric and metal could save her. She glanced down the road, hoping her ex might suddenly return, say he changed his mind. But only silence answered. A low, deep growl rolled through the warm air. And then, bursting from the shadowed undergrowth, a German shepherd leapt forward, paws landing solidly on the dirt just feet away. He was muscular, perhaps 4 years old, his coat a sharp contrast of black and tan, sleek yet scarred with hints of a difficult past. His ears stood alert, his amber eyes sharp but not wild. Around his neck hung a sturdy collar with a worn metal tag. Rex, Service K9 retired. He stood tall, tail lifted, scanning the surroundings before turning his gaze directly to Lily. Not threatening, but assessing, guarding. Lily stumbled backward, almost tripping over her own feet, but the dog didn't advance aggressively. He approached slowly, lowering his head, sniffing the air around her belly, as if he understood the fragile life she carried. "Hey, buddy," she whispered, holding out a trembling hand. Rex nudged her palm with his nose, then positioned himself between her and the forest. His stance was protector first, friend second. Someone had trained this dog with discipline and loyalty that ran deep. She stared at the tag again, wondering what had retired him. A mission gone wrong? A partner lost? Perhaps Rex knew abandonment too. Her tears fell anew, but this time the weight of loneliness lifted, just a fraction. Because while the world had just turned its back on her, here stood someone ready to face it for her. As they walked the last stretch toward the cabin, Lily spoke softly, as if confessing a secret she'd kept even from herself. "I don't think I can do this alone." Rex brushed his head against her hip, guiding her forward, like an answer. The cabin finally appeared through the trees, a small wooden structure with a sagging porch and windows clouded by time. It looked forgotten, and yet, for Lily, it was a beginning, the only one she had left. She hardly had time to take a breath of relief when Rex stiffened beside her. His fur bristled, and a sharp growl vibrated deep in his chest. He stepped ahead of her, teeth bared, body shielding her once again. "Rex?" Lily whispered, pulse soaring. His gaze was fixed on the tree line. Lily followed it. There, between branches, a figure stood, the shape of a person, watching. The moment their eyes met, the shadow slipped away, vanishing deeper into the forest with sinister ease. Chill crept across Lily's spine despite the heat. Someone was out there. Someone who didn't want to be seen. Her hand instinctively clutched her belly again, and for the first time since being abandoned, fear wasn't the only thing inside her. There was a spark of defiance, because she wasn't alone anymore. Rex let out one more warning growl into the woods, then turned back to her. He nudged her hand again, just once. "You're safe. I'm here." The cabin looked forgotten by time, yet nothing about it truly felt abandoned. Lily Parker paused on the creaking porch, letting her fingers brush over the newly installed brass lock. It was smooth, untouched by rust, a stranger's recent choice. Her grandmother certainly hadn't replaced it before passing. The thought tightened a knot in Lily's chest. Someone had been here. Recently. Rex stood beside her, tail rigid, nose twitching at scents only he understood. His ears flicked toward the thick line of pines as if waiting for danger to step out and introduce itself. With a deep breath, Lily pushed the door open. Dust particles swirled in the golden afternoon light, disturbed by their entrance. Yet, on the floor, in the layer of dust, were boot prints. Not hers. Definitely not recent family. Her heartbeat thudded louder than her footsteps. She dropped her suitcase near an old armchair, its fabric faded with age. The air smelled like cedar and something metallic. Unnatural. Rex padded deeper into the living room, sniffing along the floor before stopping at a door wedged partly behind a bookshelf. He pawed twice, then looked up at Lily. The corner of the door revealed a metal handle with a padlock securing it shut. A basement door. Why would someone lock this room in an empty house? "Rex, what is going on here?" Lily whispered, her voice cracking. As evening settled, Lily found the small necessities: a frayed quilt, a jug of old tap water, and 2 granola bars left in her purse. Rex curled near her feet, but his eyes never quite closed. Every time the wind brushed against the cabin, he growled softly. By nightfall, exhaustion pulled Lily into shallow sleep. But it didn't last long. Rex shot up, barking. The kind of bark that told the world, back away or bleed. Lily scrambled to the window, her pulse shaking. Through the thin curtains she saw it. Headlights. A truck parked just within the tree line, engine silent, but lights cutting through the dark like knives. Shapes moved around it. more than one. Then came the metallic clinking, steady, calculated, like someone hammering markers into the soil. "Rex, someone is staking out the land," Lily whispered, fear running cold. Rex's growls deepened, vibrating through the floorboards he wanted to protect, but he also wanted to attack. The front door creaked suddenly, just a whisper of movement, but enough to freeze Lily entirely. She clutched her belly instinctively. The baby kicked, reacting to her fear. Then, knock. Just one. Firm. Lily's heart nearly split in two. Rex lunged toward the door, teeth out, barking a warning that could stop a bear. Lily grabbed his collar and pulled him back just as a voice spoke through the wood. Calm, low, male. "Miss? I'm not here to scare you." The door opened only a fraction, revealing a tall silhouette before stepping into the lantern light. He removed his hat. Ethan Cooper, mid-30s. A tall man with a sturdy build from years of outdoor labor. His jaw was dusted with stubble and his skin was sun-warmed from working under open skies. His eyes, a deep and steady blue, carried stories of someone who'd seen pain and learned to swallow it quietly. He wore a plaid shirt tucked into worn jeans, and his hands, large, calloused, told of a man unafraid of hard work or of facing storms alone. "I live on the next ridge over," he said, voice steady but cautious. "Saw headlights. Thought you might need help." Rex snarled, forcing Ethan to keep his distance. The dog clearly wasn't convinced. Ethan nodded at the reaction, his gaze flicking to Lily's belly before returning to her eyes. "You shouldn't be out here by yourself," he said gently, "especially this time of year." Lily swallowed hard, forcing words out. What do you mean?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "There's something in these woods that doesn't want anyone claiming this land." His tone was too certain to be rumor, too urgent to be superstition. Lily's breath hitched. "Are you saying someone is trying to scare me away?" Ethan didn't answer immediately. Instead, he checked the window, calm yet ready, like a soldier assessing a battlefield. Rex positioned himself between Lily and Ethan, muscles tense. Clearly, trust was not a shared language yet. Ethan lowered his voice. "You should lock your doors tonight. Keep the curtains drawn. And if you see that truck again, don't go outside." He glanced once more into the woods as if expecting eyes to stare back. "I'll check the perimeter. Make sure no one's creeping around." Before Lily could question him further, Ethan slipped out into the dark again, swallowed by night as silently as he came. Rex stood guard at the door long after he vanished. Eventually, he padded back, but only after sniffing every inch of the entry step. Lily stared at the locked basement door across the room. The padlock shimmered under dim lantern light. "What are you hiding down there? And who wants to keep me from finding out?" Rex nudged her knee, grounding her. She closed her eyes. Everything inside her said one thing. Danger was already here. But so was hope. 4 paws and a beating heart's worth. Morning heat pressed over the Vermont hills, a bright haze wavering above the pines and the gravel lane that led to the cabin. Lily Parker stood on the porch boards that gave a tired groan under her weight. The night's unease still clung to her. Headlights in the trees, metallic clinks, Ethan's warning delivered in that careful, steady voice. She had slept in small, brittle pieces, waking each time Rex lifted his head to listen. Now the daylight felt like a test. What will you do with me? Fear or courage? Rex lay sphinx still at the threshold, the black and tan ridge of his back unruffled, eyes trained on the curve of road where the maples met the sun. 4 years old and muscled like a promise, he had the disciplined patience of a retired service dog and the moral clarity of a friend. Threat or not threat, he would decide in an instant. A low engine purred, polished, expensive. Then a vehicle appeared, a gleaming graphite SUV with city plates, absurdly immaculate for a road like this. It rolled to a poised stop as if the dust itself had been asked not to rise. The driver's door opened and Michael Grant stepped out. He looked mid-40s, medium height, lean in that deliberate way of men who count protein grams and minutes. His gray suit, too sharp for woods and weather, hung on his shoulders like armor. White shirt, no tie, top button open, a watch that caught sunlight like a knife blade. His face bore angles more than softness. Close-cropped dark hair showed a dignified streak of silver above the temples. He had a day's worth of well-managed stubble, the kind that read as intention rather than neglect. His eyes, pale, almost metallic, assessed, calculated, dismissed, all before he'd reached the porch step. "Miss Parker," he said, voice smooth, just warm enough to perform courtesy, just cold enough to nullify it. "Michael Grant. I represent Ridgeline Development." Rex rose without a sound, moving half a step in front of Lily. The subtler language of dogs, weight forward, ears high, spoke louder than any human sentence. Lily kept her hand on the carved railing, steadying breath and spine. "You're on private property." Grant smiled without teeth. "Yes, which is the matter at hand." He straightened his cuffs, letting the watch flash again. "This parcel is under acquisition by my firm. In fact, the arrangement was made with your late father. I'm here to finalize transfer." Heat rippled across Lily's cheeks. The words collided with grief and disbelief. Her father, with his pocket notebooks and the smell of boat varnish, had died 2 summers ago. Too quiet. Too early. He had never mentioned selling the family ground. He had promised, "The land stays with the Parkers." "My father didn't sell this," Lily said, voice careful. "He wouldn't." Grant's smile went sympathetic, then cruel at the edges, like a door that swings back and pinches your fingers. "People change their minds, Miss Parker, especially when debts assemble." His calm gaze swept the porch, the sagging eaves, the old rocking chair with one spoke missing. "Legacy is a lovely word. Until the bills arrive." Something flickered in him then, just a hairline crack, when he said debts. There was a past there. Lily could feel it the way you feel a storm under your skin. A man shaped by loss and the humiliation of needing money before he had it. Someone who promised himself he'd never beg again, only take. "My grandmother told me," Lily said. "This land holds our family's secrets." She felt the baby shift, a little roll beneath her hand, a reminder. Choose the kind of mother you want to be. If there was an agreement, you can show it. "Oh, we will," Grant said. "A deed transfer, a notarized memorandum of understanding. These things exist whether we believe in them or not." Rex's growl rumbled like a low drum. Michael's eyes cut down to him with an expression that wasn't fear, only annoyance. "Control your animal." "He's not an animal," Lily said, surprising herself with the steel in it. "He's Rex." Grant's smile thinned. "I'll be back tomorrow with papers and personnel. We'll resolve this efficiently." His gaze lingered a beat longer than necessary, reading her yellow sundress, her unsteady breathing, her pregnancy. "I'd advise you not to get attached to this structure. Sentiment has terrible resale value." He turned, slid into the SUV, and the vehicle withdrew as smoothly as it had arrived, leaving behind the scent of cool air conditioning and expensive leather. No dust dared cling to it. Lily sank into the chair, fingers trembling on the armrest. Anger rose behind her ribs like a fire seeking oxygen. "He's lying," she said to the room, to the baby, to the trees. Rex nosed her knee. He understood outrage. He also understood threats. A sudden thought struck her, clear, clean, urgent. She stood, went to the lane where her old car sat under the maples, heat rippling from its sun-baked hood. Rex followed, head low, sniffing under the chassis, trot tightening into purpose. He stopped at the rear axle, ears pricked. "What is it?" Lily crouched as far as the belly allowed. Rex pawed once, firm. Then he angled his body so she could see it. A small black rectangle, zip-tied to a bundle of cables, dirt disguised on its matte casing. A tracker. The world tilted. A neat, ruthless line between yesterday and now. Someone had wanted to know exactly when she arrived, where she parked, when she left. Not a ghost, not superstition. A plan. Her skin went cold. They're watching. Rex glanced toward the trees. Lily followed his gaze and saw nothing but the infinite green of summer, dense and pretending innocence. She swallowed, thinking of Ethan's face in the lantern light, steady blue eyes, careful voice, the anvil weight of words he didn't quite say. "Lock your doors. Don't go outside." He had known about the watchers. The question burned. Was he warning her from the outside of this mess, or from inside it? Lily took the jack handle from the trunk and reached beneath the bumper. Rex stood guard, body a shield, scanning left, right, left. She snapped the zip tie, eased the tracker down, thumbed the single recessed button. A green LED winked, sly as a secret. She didn't smash it. Not yet. Instead, she carried it to the porch, laid it on the railing, and looked out at the woods as if addressing a congregation. "I see you," she said softly. "You don't get to decide my future." The baby kicked again, firmer this time, as if seconding the motion. Rex rested his chin on the porch rail beside the device, amber eyes shining with a soldier's patience. He would wait as long as she needed. He would move the moment she asked. In the churn of fear, something settled inside Lily. Not quite courage, not yet, but the prelude to it. A decision's shadow forming. She tightened the door's new brass lock, drew the curtains, and set the tracker on the kitchen table like a chess piece placed where the opponent must see it. "Let's see who blinks," she whispered. Rex exhaled, a low, approving huff, and stretched across the threshold. Heat pressed down on Vermont like a burning hand, but the moment Lily Parker pried open the basement door, a slice of cold air spilled upward, brushing her ankles like a warning from the earth beneath. Rex stood at the top of the stairs first, his body tense, tail stiff, ears forward, a soldier returning to a battlefield he didn't yet understand. Lily, holding a flashlight in a trembling hand, carefully stepped down the narrow staircase, cradling her belly with the other. The wood creaked beneath her weight, as though the house itself questioned her decision. The air inside the basement smelled ancient. Damp wood, forgotten pages, and something metallic she couldn't quite place. The beam of her flashlight jumped across the room until it caught the glimmer of a metal file cabinet. Rust had taken its corners, but the drawers had been opened recently. Dust brushed aside, fingerprints smudged on handles. On a nearby work table, stacks of yellowing folders were neatly arranged, organized with purpose. Her throat tightened. Someone had been searching through her family's past. Rex nudged her leg and led her toward a wooden chest pushed against the brick wall. The latch gave with almost no effort, as if someone else had loosened it recently. Lily opened the lid, and her heart lurched. Inside lay a collection of items wrapped carefully in cloth. Old geological surveys, hand-drawn maps of the surrounding ridge mineral composition charts. A leather-bound notebook tied with twine. Lily recognized the careful handwriting on the first page of the notebook, her grandfather's. He had been a soft-spoken man with silver hair and steady hands. A hobby geologist, he used to take Lily on treasure hunts in the stream behind the cabin. She remembered his voice, warm like sunlit water. Not all treasure shines on the surface. The most valuable things are hidden. She swallowed against the ache of loss and flipped through pages. Copper vein confirmed beneath the southeast ridge. Estimate, extensive. Must secure mineral rights before word spreads. Another entry written hastily. Grant is pushing too hard. He knows something. If he learns that we know, everything is lost. Lily's breath caught as a photograph slipped from between the pages. It showed Michael Grant, younger but unmistakable with his calculating eyes, standing shoulder to shoulder with Lily's father. Her father smiled warmly at the camera, unaware or pretending not to notice the snake at his side. Lily turned the photo over. Handwriting in black ink. He must not know that we know. Her fingers went cold. Grant wasn't lying. He had dealings with her father. But this note? It meant her father mistrusted him. If there was a deal, it wasn't voluntary. Rex growled suddenly, low and sharp. Footsteps. Above them. Slow, heavy, moving toward the basement door. Lily's heartbeat thudded into her throat as her flashlight shook. Rex positioned himself at the foot of the stairs, muscles rigid, ready to spring. The basement door opened with a groan. A shadow fell across the steps. Then Ethan Cooper descended quickly, breath uneven as though he'd run here. Rex growled louder, showing teeth. Lily held out a hand instinctively, uncertain whether she intended to stop the dog or shield herself. Ethan lifted his palms, showing they were empty. "Lily," he said, voice hushed, urgent. "You need to come with me. Now." She tightened her grip on the notebook. "Why are you here? How did you know about this door?" Ethan's chest rose and fell with fast breaths. Up close, Lily could finally read the exhaustion in his sea-blue eyes, the kind carried by people who have stayed awake through long nights protecting others. His dark blonde hair, usually neatly swept, now clung damp to his forehead as though he'd sprinted through heat and fear. "I've been keeping an eye on this place since your grandmother passed," he said. "She asked me to. She knew people wanted this land. The wrong people." "You mean Grant?" "Yes." Ethan stepped one stair lower, careful not to make sudden movements under Rex's watchful glare. "He won't stop. He's been after this ridge for years. He's desperate now, and he knows you found something. I saw his truck heading this way." Rex barked once, sharp. A warning. Either I believe him or we're running out of time. "How do I know," Lily said slowly, "that you're not working with him?" A flicker of pain crossed Ethan's features, brief but real. He lowered his eyes, choosing honesty instead of charm. "Because if I wanted that notebook," he said, "I would have grabbed it already." Silence settled thick and heavy. Rex sniffed the air again, choosing. Then he eased slightly, though he didn't drop his guard. Outside, gravel crunched beneath tires. Headlights flashed through the basement windows. "They're here," Ethan whispered. Rex stood rigid, ears flat, teeth visible in the beam of Lily's flashlight. Ethan stepped fully into the basement now, no longer the stranger at the stairs, but an ally positioning himself between Lily and danger. "You can trust me," he said, voice steady again. "I promised your grandmother I'd protect this land and the family who belongs to it." The SUV door slammed shut above. Multiple footsteps approached the cabin. Lily clutched her belly and the notebook in the same trembling grip. One legacy of the past, one future she refused to let them steal. She met Ethan's eyes. "Then we fight," she said. And the house, for the first time, felt like it agreed. Night wrapped around the cabin like a predator waiting to strike. Vermont's summer heat lingered in the air, but the tension inside the little wooden house chilled Lily Parker to the bone. She stood at the center of the living room, clutching her grandfather's notebook in one hand, the other protectively cupping her belly. Every breath reminded her she wasn't just fighting for herself. There was a heartbeat inside her depending on her courage. Rex stood in front of her, hackles raised, teeth bared, a silent vow written in muscle and instinct. No one gets past me. Ethan Cooper moved quietly but efficiently, sliding the bolt across the front door and checking the windows. His calm expression did not match the danger closing in, but his every action spoke to someone who had prepared for a fight long before tonight. Lily studied him, really studied him. Tall frame taut with determination, jaw tightened beneath neatly trimmed stubble, sweat creating dark streaks along his blonde hair. He looked ready to place himself between her and the world. "You knew my grandmother," Lily said quietly, more statement than question. Ethan froze for a second, then turned to her. The lantern light softened his serious features. "She trusted me," he said. "And she trusted you would come home someday." His voice cracked at the end. He hadn't expected to care this much. Before Lily could answer, gravel crunched outside. Headlights. Multiple vehicles. Rex unleashed a roar of a bark, sharp, commanding, as fists pounded against the door. "Parker!" a man shouted, his tone slick and confident. "Open up! It'll save us all some trouble." Michael Grant. He stepped into the porch light and still immaculately dressed in a gray suit despite the hour. His pale eyes gleamed with entitlement. Behind him stood two men. Kyle Hansen, burly, maybe late 30s, thick neck, tattoos creeping from his collar like snakes. His shaved head glinted with sweat, and his expression carried the cruelty of someone who enjoyed being ordered to hurt. Trevor Blake, mid-20s, wiry, nervous. His darting brown eyes betrayed hesitation. His beard was scruffy and uneven, and his hands trembled slightly. A man who knew he had chosen the wrong side but didn't know how to step away. "This doesn't have to be messy," Grant called. "Sign the transfer and you can leave with whatever sentimental junk you want." Ethan stepped forward, voice low and controlled. "You have no claim here. Not legally, not morally," Grant scoffed. "How touching. The loyal farm boy protecting the damsel. But this land is my future. I won't lose it because a pregnant girl found some old diary." Lily's heart hammered. She hated the way he said "girl," as if she didn't count. Ethan's hand inched toward a wooden bat leaning near the doorway. Grant noticed. He smirked. "You planning to be a hero? Bad investment." He snapped his fingers. "Kyle," and Trevor stepped toward the door, but Rex launched like a thunderbolt, slamming his weight into the wood. The cabin shuddered. Gnashing teeth and furious barking filled the night. Trevor stumbled back, pale. Kyle cursed loudly. "That mutt needs putting down," Kyle snarled. "That's not a mutt," Lily said through the door, voice strong. "That's family." Grant's face twisted. He hated defiance. "This ends now." Ethan reached into his pocket. A phone. Not dialing. Sending. He leaned close to Lily. "Stay behind me. Help is coming." Rex barked. 3 sharp barks in a pattern. Warning. Movement by the back door. Ethan turned just as the cabin's rear lock splintered. Kyle forcing his way through with a crowbar. Trevor remained hesitant, shifting from foot to foot, regret eating him alive. Ethan rushed forward, intercepting Kyle. The two men collided, bat striking metal with a ringing crack. Kyle staggered, growling like a wounded bull. Rex shot through the room and blocked Grant's advance, snapping at his ankles. Grant stumbled backward, cursing, no longer in control. The wail of sirens split the night, slicing through trees and egos alike. Blue and red lights flickered through the windows. Voices called out. "State police! Drop your weapons!" Chaos dissolved into forced compliance. Officers swarmed the porch, weapons drawn. Kyle dropped the crowbar, chest heaving. Trevor put his hands up first, a boy relieved to be stopped. Grant lifted his chin. arrogance cracked, but not broken. "You can't prove anything," he hissed. One officer, a tall black man with a steady presence named Sergeant Daniel Brooks, spoke firmly. "We have enough. Illegal mineral extraction, trespassing, tampering with property. That's just the beginning." Grant's jaw clenched. His empire, his plans, unraveling in a single night. He shot Lily one last look, a promise not of forgiveness but revenge deferred. Lily finally exhaled, a release of fear she'd been clinging to since the first night she walked this road alone. The officers escorted the men away. Grant's SUV, once spotless, now kicked up dust as it disappeared into the dark. Silence returned. Rex padded back to Lily, placing his head on her belly. The baby kicked, as if thanking its protector personally. Ethan stepped closer, chest rising and falling with relief. "Your grandmother asked me to protect this land, and whoever carried the Parker name next." He looked at her, truly looked. "You belong here, Lily." Morning came softly, golden rays filtering through the pines, turning the world new. Michael Grant waited in a jail cell. Ethan Cooper stood as the official guardian of the Parker property. Rex lay by Lily's side, tail thumping with pride. And the baby? Safe, strong, waiting to arrive in a world that had been fought for. Lily smiled, tears glimmering. "Family," she whispered, "can begin with a dog who knows who to love." And summer, for the first time, felt like hope. Not all miracles come with angel wings. Some come with muddy paws, a wagging tail, and eyes that refuse to give up on us, even when the world already has. Some miracles walk into our lives quietly, like a kind stranger with a wounded past, choosing to stand beside us exactly when darkness tries to take everything away. And some miracles beat beneath a mother's ribs, small, fragile, yet powerful enough to restore a future she thought she had lost. This story reminds us, God answers every prayer. Sometimes his answer is a dog. Sometimes his answer is a person he sends just in time. Sometimes his answer is the strength he places inside us. When the night is long and your heart whispers fear, remember, faith turns fear into footsteps. Hope turns weakness into courage. And God turns abandoned paths into new beginnings. If you are watching this right now, feeling broken, forgotten, or afraid, please hold on. God is not done with your story. Your miracle may already be running towards you, on 4 paws, or 2 feet, or from heaven above. May his love wrap around you like Rex wrapped around Lily. Protector, companion, proof that we never walk alone. May God bless you, heal you, and place angels beside you, in any form they may come.